Okay, this is the third series in our We Hunt the Keepers campaign. The name of this series is The Path to Dim Carcosa. Just like the previous series, Children of the Eight-Legged She, this one is going to be divided up into essentially two narratives. The first session, which is this one that we're doing now, is a separate and distinct story from the remaining three sessions, which will be the per se sort of Path to Carcosa sessions. So, really briefly for anybody who's watching this video, will you guys just introduce your characters briefly? David, tell us about Logan, please.
Yes, I will be playing Logan Stormbreaker, a mage who is most recently been involved in a attempt to unlock the mysteries of this strange, quote, space alien device. In doing so, he has discovered a strange new magic that his order has not previously been aware of, and they have given him a second surname, Logan Fleshweaver. So Ooh. Some may know him as Stormbreaker, some may know him as Fleshweaver. But that is a new and creepy aspect to Logan that we will be exploring as we find the path to Dim Carcosa.
Awesome. Cool. I love it. Fraser, please tell us about Weary the Thief.
Weary is a Assassin's Creed style thief in a dungeon world. He's a member of the Shadow Court, which is sort of like the juxtaposition of a church, and he's been sort of taken from birth to be indoctrinated as this kind of assassin type character. And we have recently learned that he's also an alien, I think.
He is he is a native of Carcosa, although he himself was not born in Carcosa. He is he's a child of people from there, right? Mm-hmm. His true form is he has translucent skin. He's a bone man. So.
Yeah. Ancestrally from Carcosa.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So for all that great backstory and for more detail, go check out the previous videos in this series. An overview again of what we're doing here. We Hunt the Keepers. The player characters have been hired by a church, which is which is powerful and connected throughout the setting. The church has their eye on these heretical monks called the Keepers, an order of monks who broke off some years ago and who have been going to different places in the world to study these objects, places, entities called the keys. And the keys were originally documented in a series of volumes that the church keeps in their archives, right? And now these heretical monks from the church have gone out to further study these keys against the wishes of the church, which is what makes them heretics. And so the church has hired mercenaries and Templars and folks like you to go out and mercilessly kill these keepers, acquire the key if need be, hide the key if need be, maybe destroy the key. That's what's happening in this one. So for this session, the two of you, Weary and Logan, are in the great city of Eagle's Reach in the mountains, okay? It is a very large city. It's a major center of trade and culture. And you have a name, Lord Caspian Gall, keeper of the woman whose face is not but tentacles. You are to find Lord Caspian Gall, kill him, and the church particularly wants this key, the woman whose face is not but tentacles, destroyed. There's no interest in preserving her. There's no interest in studying her. There's no interest in trying to figure out what her motivations are. The only interest is destroying her. So you kind of have like two targets on this hunt. Lord Caspian Gall is famous in the city of Eagle's Reach for the parties that he throws. Vast, opulent affairs, okay? He throws parties because he loves to throw parties. Sometimes it's for something as small and trivial as, his, that a servant is having a birthday, one of his friend's child, turned 3 years old or something, just random and weird. He throws these parties almost on a weekly basis, okay? And they are usually masquerade balls. They're always masquerade balls. And he's very public. He's very out there. Unlike many of the keepers that you guys have had your hands on, he doesn't make any effort to hide himself or to be reclusive or secretive. He does his work out in the open, okay? And so we begin this adventure with a huge group of people dressed in their velvets and silks and finery, making their way through a long procession of people going out the front gate of Lord Caspian Gall's manor. And the two of you are in this line. And at the head of the line, Lord Caspian Gall has a basket filled with masks, and he asks a question of each person who comes up to show their invitation. He asks them a question, he has a little conversation with them, and then he chooses a mask that he believes is appropriate for them to wear. And they put the mask on, and they proceed through the house. So that's what's happening at the outset. I want to find out from each of you. Your goal is to locate the woman whose face is not but tentacles. Your other goal is to kill Lord Caspian Gall. What preparations have you made in order to do this? What is your plan of attack? What are you doing right now? Are you going in as guests? Are you going surreptitiously as servants at the party? Are you infiltrating the party in some other way? The choice is totally up to you. Think about that. We're going to take 2 minutes and come back.
Fraser.
Yeah?
Haven't we done this before?
Yeah. Yes, we did. So I'm wondering if it's like a...
Should we use the mirror in some way?
Yeah, I'm wondering if like it's like a replay thing, like where we're meant to like get messed with.
I know.
Or something.
Yeah.
Cause he said just go with it, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
So...
Like, I'm having hardcore deja vu.
Yeah. He said just go with it, so we'll just go with it.
I think he just went and flagged my mirrors.
Flagged it?
Yeah, like he just changed the background color. I wonder if I'm not going to be able to use those.
Or maybe you should be using them?
I don't know.
Well, it would be a good time to hit my flag anyway, to send me into danger.
Yeah, just do this like we did this before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how.
So maybe this time I'll get it. Because I remember that the last thing I did was burn it to the ground too, right?
Would you burn to the ground?
In the exposition after the thing, there was like an epilogue where I described like someone burning that whole place with all the pictures and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I'll try to infiltrate. Like just sort of do the sneaky thief thing and try to like go in, I guess.
You could like try and sneak in as I'm like talking to him like we did the last time. Maybe this time we'll get it right.
Yeah, we could, yeah. Because it says, well, I have one of my flags is send me into the shadows to explore something or back you up. Maybe, yeah, like something like where you cause a commotion or something like that, and then I slip in and go looking for the keeper or something.
Yeah, I mean that's what we tried to do last time. We just didn't roll very well.
Yeah, and he saw me right away.
Yep.
But now I'm a much better thief.
So we're back. Logan, what's your approach here?
I mean, like the first time this happened, I'm just standing in line. I think I have like. Did you flag these mirrors, or
You do not have access to those right now.
I don't have the mirrors? Okay.
But you have a vague sense that you've done this before, right? It all feels very familiar, very extremely familiar to you.
Yeah.
You have a mission. What's your approach?
I'm just a party guest. Like that's my approach.
Same thing for you, Weary?
I instead am going to try to sneak in when other guests are going in. Maybe when Logan is doing their thing.
Exactly like we did the first.
Right. Because you didn't talk to Lord Caspian Gall the first time, right?
Well, he tried not to, but it didn't go well, and he got spotted.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. Lord Caspian Gall is a very short man. He is standing on a little like stair step at his door. He has a servant wearing like a sort of elaborate all the servants are wearing like elaborate crow masks, and the servant is there helping him with the masks and things, which are in like a big basket. And he himself is dressed in very like sort of Peter the Elder, like style art, poofy, velvet hats and things like that, right? Feathers. He's got like a little gray goatee and tufts of gray hair popping out of his feathered cap. And it's a really slow process. Like it almost feels like funereal, except everyone's excited, everyone's chattering, right? But like it's just a long line of like of people like doing their duty. No one complains, no one is anxious and wants the line to move faster. Everyone expects to go to the front and be questioned by Lord Gall and receive their mask, but it does take a while. Eventually you arrive at the front of the line, Logan. And Lord Gall sees you, and he, how do you look when we see you? Like, what do you look like? How have you dressed for the party?
Well, I always have the same robes. They are very utilitarian, very useful for all kinds of situations. But I think they have recently taken on an aspect that is less than ideal for polite society. I have fashioned different layers of it with all manner of living eyeballs.
Where did these come from, these living eyeballs?
Well, it's one of those things probably better left alone.
Fair enough.
Victims of the hunters of the keepers.
Interesting.
But they're not always, as long as I keep a mind to it, I can keep them concealed. But I think I'm so just just caught up in this deja vu that I've kind of left my robes to their own devices, and occasionally the boar quills will come out and occasionally the eyes will come out, and like everyone probably takes a shuffle away when that happens. But
yeah, I like it. I like how your robes are becoming like gradually more and more like an organic thing, like a part of your body almost, I think is really interesting. I think it's an interesting sort of aesthetic sort of development of the character. I think that's really intriguing. But no particular details paid to the fact that like you're at a fancy masquerade ball, or just your normal robes in that sense.
Well, yeah, they're just the normal robes in that. Like they're pretty they're reasonably fancy in their own regard, and when
What
they're
color are
not
they?
when they're not being creepy. Right now, I have them turned to a nice dark black.
Evening wear. Good.
Yeah.
You reach the front of the line, and Lord Gaul says, "Good evening. And what is your name, sir?"
Logan, have we by chance met before?
He smiles, a very conspiratorial smile, and he says, "It is very, very important that we maintain a certain degree of secrecy at a masquerade ball, you see. And so we shouldn't speak of such things. Hmm?
Very, very well.
Logan, what is your surname, Logan?"
I don't have a surname proper, but folks have been known to call me Stormbreaker or Fleshweaver.
"Oh, Fleshweaver. That's very, very intriguing. What sorts of flesh do you like to get about weaving?"
Probably like at that, like my robe like turns itself and some eyes just like make awkward contact with his eyes. And I'm just like, oh, this and that, mostly for medicinal purposes.
There's a brief moment where he looks at your robes, and you can see a small like smile creep up in the corner of his lips, and he's not surprised. But then he like is clearly feigning surprise, like, "Oh my goodness, that's what a nasty twig. Well," and then he kind of turns and says, "I didn't think I have to ask any questions of you." And he goes into his little basket of masks. And what sort of mask do you suppose he pulls out?
I think he pulls out like a tentacle-y mask.
Interesting. Maybe like an eye with tentacles coming off of it.
Yeah, or like an octopus mask or something.
Octopus mask, I like that. And he puts it on you, and he will bid you into the party. Weary, I'm led to believe that you are trying to sneak in behind, not but behind without being seen, right?
Yeah, like maybe when that cape flourishes and he sort of does his like fake surprise thing.
Yeah.
That's the moment when I choose that's the distraction and try to go in unseen kind of thing. And maybe in such a way that I also grab like a mask from him as he's doing his like, "Oh my," kind of thing.
Sure.
I'm just like, yank.
I love it. I love it. Give me a dexterity roll. In addition to a hit getting you inside safely, no matter what, a hit gets you inside without being noticed. On a 7 to 9, I'll let you choose, or on a 7 to 9, I'll choose the mask. On a 10 plus, you get to choose the mask. Go ahead and roll.
Let's see. Oh, put it in the wrong window. Oh, I failed, of course.
You're theoretically getting aid from Logan the way we set it up. What was your natural number?
It was a 5 with a plus.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind. So much for that.
Yeah, but I'll level next time at least.
Indeed. You are trying to sneak in, and this feels awfully familiar, doesn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
You were trying to sneak in, and he says, "Oh, excuse me. No one can go in without getting a mask. I have to say, are you trying to cut the line, sir?"
I am not accustomed to waiting in line. I guess you have me, good sir.
"And what shall I call you?"
You may call me weary of standing in lines.
Weary. What a perfectly cryptic name. What does it mean?
I'm not sure that these days it means anything.
It's weary. I can tell from looking at you that you're wearing a mask already. Perhaps I shall give you something that will reveal truth. And he pulls out a mask that is a skull face and hands it to you. And the next guest comes up, and you two are welcome to go in.
I turn to you and I'm like, we should have just made you a part of his staff this time. We really need someone to be part of his staff if this is going to work.
And I think he has like the deja vu that you have as well, but I think he hasn't like. I think it would be fun if he didn't realize that this was the second time, but that it is deja vu.
Yeah, you guys as players, you guys can decide how much each character remembers from the last time.
Yeah. I'm just like snapping my finger. I'm like, I swear. We always have a chap who's part of the staff. Who was it? I don't seem to remember.
Yeah, I'm coming up short.
We should have brought them.
Coming up short. Ah, that's very good. What a great segue. As you enter into the grand, splendid, great hall of Lord Gall's manor, this is a place of opulence and joy. I'd like to know from each of you one element that you see that shows that this is either a place of opulence or joy. Your choice. Also, this is a home clearly designed to be lived in by a man who is very, very short. And he's quite short. Like, I think he's like halfling or dwarf height. Like, he's really short, okay? Maybe like between a halfling and a dwarf, right? I want to know what you see in the house that's a reminder of just how short Lord Gall is. Who wants to go first with opulence or joy?
I will go, and I'm doing something entirely different from last time. Opulence and joy. It is open air. There is, if you look closely, there is in fact a retractable ceiling, because normally the ceiling is halfling height, but he loves to host parties so much that he had this specifically installed so that it could open up and you could see the bright sky. In fact, there's probably one particularly bright star in the sky.
Indeed. What about you, Murray?
I think this time the subjects from the paintings before are in the where the paintings were, and the paintings are where the people were. So it still is the same effect, but it's sort of like opposite. So I imagine these people are sort of like in rooms behind the walls that are like transparent, and then the paintings are in front with sections of them sort of like removed, and then the people behind them frame up where the people are cut out in the actual painting.
Oh, I see. So he has paintings with little alcoves behind them wherein people like stand inside these cutouts in the paintings to be the characters in the painting.
Exactly.
Whereas the last time you were at Caspian Gall's party, the characters, the people were standing in front of the paintings reenacting the scene. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting. Good touch. How do you know he's so short?
I think all of the how about maybe all of the like clearly hired women here, and I think even some men that are maybe even the like best looking ones, but are people know that they're like escorts or whatever.
Party trade.
Yeah, they're all like shorter people.
Okay. Nice. Like they're still not like as short as him, but right, they're clearly like, I like that. That's good.
They're like 5'3" or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to I think that high society right now has really gotten into stilts as fads come and go. Like sometimes high society is really into strange large bicycles. Right now they're into stilts, and there are a number of people on stilts but they're really low to the ground stilts. And Lord Caspian's stilts, which are like propped up near him, are much, much higher.
So there are people literally walking around on stilts right now.
Yes, like it is all the rage.
Interesting. So, octopus masked guest and skull masked guest. What's your approach? You've got a couple things here. You got to figure out where where the key is, and then make a plan for killing Lord Gaul. Weary, what do you
do? I turn to Logan and I say, "This is all very familiar, and at the same time, not."
I swear I've never seen anyone with as many stilts as this. I've never done this before.
Yeah,
like somebody like offers me a pair, and I just like wave him off. I'm like, no.
Yeah, or once it was like a drink or something. Instead, the guy just is like, "Would you like to go skiing?"
But
well, I'll say like, I doubt that this keeper, at least, is not going to be here, because if they have octopus faces, then
oh, you mean the key?
Yeah, the key will probably be hidden somewhere. Do you think we should go after the key first, or?
I have a feeling that this particular Lord Caspian, he seems like the type who would get up to some kinky stuff. He might keep her in a back room.
Yeah.
And
I also feel like he might be into kinky stuff for some reason.
I don't know what that is. He just strikes me as the type.
But a woman with tentacles, I mean, even a mask wouldn't cover that, right?
Well, you never know. You have some pretty elaborate masks, and I kind of like gesture to my own. But if we can find her, I have no interest in destroying this. I think that we can sufficiently neutralize it. What the church doesn't know won't hurt them.
Well, yeah, Weary has no love of the church, so I think he'll just like be pleased inwardly, and then outwardly he'll just sort of do like a polite society nod to you about it. So the real trick will be getting Caspian.
Well, maybe. I think finding this person in this room full of masks, if they are not in fact hidden in a back room, could be tricky. Do you want to be checking back rooms, and I can try my hand at sufficiently charming these folks into perhaps revealing a tentacle-faced woman?
Okay. Yeah. I always prefer to stick to the shadows, and then maybe like the camera pans and I'm like gone, right? Do my patented trick. And there's a candle that's blown out, of course, my patented trick.
And some guy's like, "Oh my god, why are these candles always going out?" And he's like,
exactly.
Well, so Weary, what's your approach? I mean, you're going to go skulking around in the back rooms, because there's like a sort of like main hall. There's the open air dome, as David described, and then but there are other wings of the house, right? Like this is just sort of like a central part.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I want to maybe is there still like that? I remember there being like a balcony or something like that, right? Like stairs leading up to. Like
there's I think there's like a perimeter balcony over this like over this like sort of ballroom, and there are like rooms up there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking like maybe they're roped off or something, and that's where I go, because they clearly are trying to hide something.
Yeah. I think sneaking up there is not going to be a big deal. Do you necessarily? Do you want to just roll discern realities, or what's your approach? Like, how are you investigating?
I think I want to look for maybe rooms that are that look even more restricted than others, probably.
Okay, I'm into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like
good.
looking for maybe most rooms are unlocked, and I'm looking for locked ones, and also sort of like squirreled away ones or something.
Yeah, I think that's great. Roll plus wisdom for DR.
Wisdom is 0. I failed. 6. Oh yeah, it feels like last time. That's for sure.
Racking up the XP.
Yeah.
Go ahead and mark another XP. I'll come back to you. Logan, what about you? What are you doing?
I'm just interacting with the party guests and trying to see if this woman whose face is not but tentacles is in and about this masquerade.
There's no you've got no indication that there's anyone like that at the party, right? Even if that was just like some sort of like weird ceremonial title or something, and not a person who possibly is literally tentacle faced, right? There's nothing even close to that. I'll just tell you, like, just off your simple conversations, that's what you're going to kind of be able to deduce. Are you just like listening to conversations, or are you actually engaging in conversations with as well?
No, like I was actually engaging in conversations, not asking for this woman, but
Sure,
trying
yeah,
to
just kind of seeing what people are talking about. That's good. I don't need a roll here. You meet up with a particularly interesting set of women who are guests at the party. They are wearing, very, very beautiful, poofy, sort of like velvet gowns, right? And corsets, well shaped, that kind of thing. They have masks on, different kinds of bird masks, right? And you're going to get in good with them just in terms of like conversation. Maybe it's your octopus mask that like they're intrigued by, or maybe it's something else. Like, how do you kind of like work your way into their conversation?
I think it's the robes. It's not windy in here, but these robes keep billowing, and they're just fascinated. Like they're just like keep asking me questions, and I keep like dodging because there's no real answer. And they find that like intriguing, this man of mystery kind of thing.
Sure, yeah. And as the conversation's going on, you guys aren't supposed to reveal your names, right? So they just refer to you as like Octopus Man or something like that, right? And the conversation goes away. They eventually get bored with your robes, right? And they're moving on to other things. And one of them says to all of you, including you, to the whole group, including you, so I heard Lord Gaul has a wife who's completely insane, hidden in his attic. And then another one says, I've heard that too. I've heard that he takes her dinner up to her every night and spends hours talking with her, but that she's just so completely mad he can't bring her out into society. All that sort of thing is going on. What do you do?
I think that's what I'm looking for. I will put an end to these rumors. I will see for myself. I say to them? Yeah.
Yeah, good. I like it. Good. So, Weary, you went upstairs looking for locked rooms, places that are like, off limits, right? And you did find a set of rooms that is locked. The doors are locked, and you can make quick work of it with your, with just those simple tools, right? It's just an interior door, right? That's locked. Easy peasy. And when you go inside, you see a very, very, a very unusual scene, let's say, okay? Very strange scene. What you see inside is a circle of chairs, wingback chairs in velvet, okay? And they are deep red in color. And they're arranged in a circle, like I said, arranged in a circle with little side tables. And the room is lit with a candle chandelier up above. And inside, you see a large glass cube or a large glass chamber. Okay, it's about maybe, it's like the size of a small bedroom. Okay, about the size of this room I'm in right now. Okay, like it's like an office.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfectly clear glass, and inside there is a man who is laying on the floor of this glass cube asleep. What do you do?
He's asleep. And there's no like air holes or anything?
Do you want to do discern realities? Go for it. Are you like kind of investigating it?
Yeah, I'll definitely investigate while trying to remain as quiet as possible.
Sure.
And that's another is it? Wisdom?
For discern realities.
Oh, I failed again.
Boy, you're just having you're racking it up.
I guess the deja vu has me. I'm just all discombobulated or something.
Indeed. You are moving around this large glass cube, and you can't see. The light is not great. It's but the glass cube reflects it pretty well, so you can kind of generally see what's going on, but you can't see any seams. Like it seems like this cube was carved from like a single piece of crystal or glass, right? And there's no apparent air holes, and it has been machined perfectly. Like it just looks utterly flawless and utter like very cubical, right? In an otherworldly way. You've never seen anything like it. It's a wonder. And as you are looking around, you reach your hand out and touch the glass, because that's a natural sort of thing to do, right? To feel for gaps or breaks or anything like that, right? You touch the glass, and as soon as your hand makes contact with it, it begins to vibrate. The whole cube begins to vibrate. It's like, oh. I'm gonna cut away for a minute. Logan, the attic is going to be on a side of the house. I think it's probably going to be like in a wing of the house. To get to it's another wing of the house, like not the same direction that Logan's in. But you can figure that out pretty simply. What's your approach here? What do you do?
So I found the attic.
Yeah, you can. I mean, people aren't restricted from walking around the house, right? No one does, but like not many people do. But you can just kind of wander off, right?
Right.
Looking at the privy or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm. If I find that, then I'm just gonna go in. Like,
there's a little door. There's a narrow door. About it's almost like a half door, right? And that is of a style that you'll recognize. It's the sort of door that leads like to little stairs that go up to the attic, right? What do you do?
I'm just gonna open it and see if there's stairs.
It opens and there are stairs that go up.
Yep, I'll go up the stairs.
As you are going up the stairs, your boot hits a step, maybe about 5 or 6 steps up, and that step gives a little bit with a little chunk chunk as you step on it, and there's another up above you, another chunk chunk, and a whoosh, and there's a large blade that swings down, and there's like basically nowhere to dodge because it's a narrow little thing. And it just swings down and smashes into you for best of 2d10.
Does it hit him rather low?
It interestingly, if you took the time to investigate, you'll discover that if Lord Caspian Gall ever accidentally set that trap off, it would miss him. So
so halfling thieves would be ideal for this.
It'd be ideal for this scenario, right? But yeah. So it just swings down. How much damage did you take?
6.
And armor counts if you have it.
Yeah, it's 6, and I had 1 armor, so 5.
It just swings down and kind of like smashes you in the chest, and like you kind of fall back and kind of stumble down the stairs a little bit. What do you do? How do you feel?
I feel like this Lord Caspian is like very, like really putting his guests in danger if he's just gonna trap his unlocked doors.
It's a liability issue clearly going on here.
Yeah.
So do you just walk past that and keep going?
Yeah, I'll proceed more carefully from here.
You get up the rest of the stairs. You can go a little slower, tap the stairs, and make sure there's nothing else going on. And you see now that one particular step looks really different from the rest of them, right? Like it doesn't even look like it's not made of the same type of material, right? It's like metal, and the rest are wood. You get up to the top. Again, this very, very like tight little space, and you turn to your right, and immediately right there to your right, there is another door, which presumably goes into the actual attic space that's up here, right? The door is a very simple wooden door. There's not much to it. You do.
I'll like take a look at the door and make sure it's not trapped too, because.
Give me discern realities.
I think I got a 6.
Mark that XP. You are moving your fingers along the frame of the door, checking things out, trying to make sure there's nothing weird going on. I think you inadvertently are looking for mechanical traps, and something like kind of slides past you a little bit. Do you have counterspell by chance?
Yeah.
You touch a certain part of the door that causes a rune to appear on it. It's clearly a magical rune trap. There's a glow that's sort of a glowing blue rune. You have a brief moment to respond. What do you do?
Yeah, I would try and counter it, turn it against itself.
I think that's great. Is that a roll, I guess, for the mage?
That's a counter spell, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead and roll that.
8.
8. What happens on a 7 then?
Let me see. On a 7 and 9, choose 1. The spell deals no damage. The spell's effects are superficial and temporary. You take +1 forward against the caster, or you use black magic against the caster immediately, even if you don't have the move. The spell deals no damage is what I choose.
You go into your counterspell. Does the text say that like the spell's neutralized as well, or does it just say it deals no damage?
Well, so the 4 options were no damage. Mm-hmm. Its effects are superficial and temporary. Mm-hmm. You take +1 forward against the caster, or I use black magic against the caster immediately.
So the only one that makes sense is the first one or the second one. Okay, that's good. I will tell you right now that this is not a spell that hurts you if you want to choose the other. So
then I will. Yeah.
This is it does something different. But it does do its thing. Okay. Just in a superficial way. And you cast your counterspell, and you feel a little sort of like a whoosh, like when you're on a really, really tall, like one of those drop rides at an amusement park, like that feeling you get of your stomach lurching up. You have that feeling of like your stomach like suddenly lurching, right? And We'll come back to that. Weary, the cube vibrating wildly, right? A wildly vibrating cube. And the person who was sleeping previously inside the cube, they are lifted into the air as if suspended by some sort of invisible force in the cube, and they're splayed out arms and legs, like almost crucifixion style, right? And they scream, like they just let out this like terrible blood curdling scream, and then their body is just ripped apart. Starting with the hair, then the clothes, then the skin, then the muscle, then the skeletal, then the bones, the eyes. It all just like flies apart and slams up against the walls of the cube. And then all the blood just totally disappears. And it's a perfectly clear crystal cube. What do you do?
It's like a torture chamber kind of thing. I think...
Interestingly, the chairs arranged around the cube indicate that like people watch this, right?
Yeah. And it's a pretty quick process, right?
Seconds.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think like he suppresses like retching, and then probably makes to go out pretty quickly because it's like flight or flight mode still. I think like he'll process it more later, but right now he's like, I'm going to be discovered for sure.
Yeah. That's probably a good move. You run outside. I assume you pull the doors closed.
Yeah.
Lord Caspian Gall is standing there, and he says, "Oh, weary, right?"
Yes.
I can tell behind your mask that you look like you've seen a ghost.
I'm not sure exactly what I've seen. Why don't you explain it to me?
And he comes up and he walks up beside you. He reaches his arm up and hooks his arm into yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "How are you enjoying the party so far?"
It's all a rather opulent affair, and I don't think I fit into this crowd. And there's like a sidelong glance at that room.
And you hear commotion coming from that room. It's muted, it's muffled, but you hear like the sounds of a person, maybe a young man or a woman, crying for help, desperately confused about where they're at.
In that same room?
Mm-hmm.
In the cube room?
Mm-hmm. What do you do?
I want to envenom Caspian with like a sleep thing.
Okay, good.
And then go into that room after if I manage to ever pass a roll ever. Who knows?
So what poisons are we doing here? Do you have a poison?
I've got Oil of Tagit, Golden Root, and Serpent's Tears.
Okay.
I don't remember which one is the sleeping one.
Tagit oil sleeping.
Tagit oil. Okay. Yeah. So I've got 2 uses of that.
Hmm.
So, and then I have Envenom, so I can do it with like the lightest of pinpricks or something like that. Kind of.
What kind of poison is Tagit oil? Let's look at this real quick, because they all have to be applied in different ways, as I recall.
Yeah, but
this one has to be in their body.
Okay, so
okay.
It's
applied.
It's applied. Okay, yeah. If it's applied, then a pinprick works fine.
Okay.
So, I think I have that right. Anyway, I'm not interested in like going into the details of that rather stupid rule of Dungeon World. So, if you want it to be a pinprick poison, I think that's totally fine. I also think that like you're only supposed to get certain poisons, but I've never liked the poison rules in Dungeon World, so we'll just roll with this. So yeah. The lightest of pinpricks. That's pretty good. On any other character, I would just let you have this, but I think on him, I wanted to fight danger dexterity.
Okay. Let's see. 12.
Nice. He's out. Describe it. How does it look?
I think I hear the commotion, and he is probably like saying whatever he was saying like mid sentence, and I sort of do like a pirouette on my feet, and then as I'm turning, I do the pinprick on the back of his neck, and sort of like in one smooth motion, put him against the railing as well as if he's like in a stupor,
Mm-hmm.
and then make my way to the room.
Nice. Cut to Logan. Let me check my notes real quick, Logan. Recall what happens on that trap, even though it's only happening briefly. Good. You feel that drop, that whooshing, right, in your stomach, right? And you find yourself in a stone chamber, a circular stone chamber with rather tall walls. And it's mason stone, but simple. And you know that you've been a victim of some sort of teleportation spell, and you know that it's not permanent. You know that like whatever it is, your counter spell will reverse it, and you will whoosh back to where you were at, right? This is just a momentary thing. But while you're waiting for it to get back in reverse, you see that there are people crawling down from the high parts of this wall, right? Probably about a half a dozen of them. They are thin and bony and ashen colored, and they have razor-like claws. They look like demi-humans, and their eyes are kind of glowing red, and they got mouths full of razor-sharp teeth, and you can hear them hissing, and they make almost like a little they have like a little like sort of chattering vocalization, right? Kind of like a group of velociraptors or something like that, you know, like coordinating an attack, right? They make this like sickly but also kind of chattering noise. I can't really do it, and they're descending down this wall. I think you got to cope with this for a minute. What do you do?
So is it like I'm in a well and they're climbing down the walls?
Yeah,
of a
but
well?
but wider than a well. Yeah, like it's like the size of a room, a large room.
Okay. And how many of them are crawling down the walls?
Maybe half a dozen.
Okay. I will just lift my ring and trigger it to activate chain lightning.
Nice. I love this. I want to defy danger with intelligence for quick thinking. The way this is going to work is, so long as you succeed, you will be able to hold them off long enough until the counter spell kicks in, or until the counter kicks in, with varying degrees of danger, right? Depending on the result. So
I get an 11.
Nice. This is going to work, and you will blink right back up to where you were at. Just describe how you survived this little moment here. What do you do? What does it look like?
Like it's really, I've been really casual about this whole investigation, even after like getting hit with a weapon that came out of the wall. And like, I'm equally casual about this, where it's just like, ugh, like this is ridiculous. Like, keepers, what do they get up to? And I just like lift the ring above my head, and it just like arcs lightning at like all of these things, and they either have to skitter back or deal with getting hit with lightning.
Nice.
Let me see if the ring is still good.
Okay, good. Nice. And then you feel like the opposite feeling of like you know, that you had going there. You feel like you're kind of lifting up into the air, and then and you hear a whoosh, and then you're right there in front of the door again. The trap disarmed. What do you do?
Yeah, if the trap is disarmed, I'll try the door.
It opens.
And I will.
And this room is perfectly dark, unlike the others, which are lit by lanterns.
Okay, then I'll hope that I have some source of light. Like, I don't know if the ring gives an ambient glow since it's full of lightning, but
Maybe.
That might be a source.
Kind of into that. Maybe very small though, right? Like it wouldn't illuminate too much in front of you.
Yeah, it'd be like using your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. Around. Yeah, that's a good analogy. You are moving around this dark attic space with this very local halo of blue light from your lightning ring. I think having the ring, using the ring in this way causes there's a crackle of static electricity in the air, right? I think you can kind of feel it. Like, if you have, I don't know if your character has a mustache or not, but you can kind of feel it there. You can feel it in the ends of your hair, right? And you're moving through. What are you paying attention for? What are you doing?
I'm moving very quietly because I've been led to believe that someone is up here. Mm-hmm. So I'm waiting to hear if they respond to seeing a small amount of light or anything like that. And if they don't, I'm hoping I'll stumble upon them.
I feel like this feels like discern realities because you're kind of doing a thing to try to get a certain effect in order to examine that effect. So.
Okay, I got an 8. What should I be on the lookout for?
You do hear, you are up here with someone. You can feel the presence of another life force. It could be something, a part of your magical intuition. It could just be the sort of normal human intuition of like when you feel like someone's watching you, right? Just you kind of get that weird feeling like I'm not alone. It's that kind of feeling. It. They're up here. They're being very, very quiet. But they're definitely here. What do you do?
I think by this point, like my robes have turned to all of the eyes sections, and they're like yellow eyes with red irises. They're just like darting glances everywhere. It's almost subconscious, but like it's almost like my robes are watching for me. And I proceed towards where I perceive this entity to be, whatever is watching me.
Good. I'm gonna cut away. Weary, you stuffed Lord Gaul in a staircase or wherever you stuffed him, in a hallway or something, and you go back inside the room.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
You see an old friend inside the cube. There's an old friend in the cube. He is looking around like crazy. He's totally frightened until he sees you. It's Pate, the torchbearer from Frostdale. And he's there. He even managed to arrive with a bundle of torches sitting down by his boots. And he sees you and he says, "Ooh, hey, we met a while back, right? You're Weary. That's your name."
Yes, but I don't know how you came to be here, but do not touch your prison of whatever you're in. I saw somebody die in there only moments ago.
One thing I'll point out, in case you didn't pick up on it, is he recognized you through your mask, right? That's one little mask. He says, "What's going on? Where am I at? What's happening to me?"
You're in Lord Caspian's manor in a...
Who's Lord Caspian?
I don't even know myself, to be honest.
I'm so confused. What's happening here? I was just there working on my torches, cutting the wood, shaping the wood, soaking them in oil. That's the secret, Pre-soak them in oil. They burn real good then.
I see.
And now here I am. It just feels like some kind of weird joke. Am I dreaming, possibly? Well, I'm very, very confused.
Remain calm, Pete. As I said, you're in some kind of prison, and I don't want any harm to befall you. And I think that's when I like I realize the mask is on, and I say, how did you know who I was anyway with this mask on, Pete?
Oh yeah, I guess you are. I guess you are wearing a mask. I didn't notice that before. Intuition. That's right. You got to have intuition if you're going to be a proper torchbearer. You got to know where to bring the light, when to bring the light, even before it's asked for. That's what makes me good. That's what makes my father good. That's what makes his father good. And his father, we were the best. Intuition.
I see. Can I try to see if the cube is like a trap and try to disarm that trap?
That's beyond your skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
know how it works though. Like that's
yeah. Don't touch it.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. But then otherwise he'll just be in there, right? I think I go.
Could be a spout lore thing. It might be something you've seen before.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Shadow Court's involved in all kinds of dark shit, right?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they torture people. My intelligence is 02. Okay. Oh yeah, the double one snake eyes.
This is a weird disaster for Weary.
Yeah, he's beside himself.
Hold that thought. I'm gonna smash cut away. Mark an XP. Logan Stormbreaker. You're roaming around in the dark, and you hear a voice, a woman's voice. You can't see the woman yet. She says, I wouldn't come any further if I were you.
Why not?
Lord Caspian says that my appearance is not appealing to most people.
And I hold the ring up near my face so that she can see the tentacle mask, the octopus mask. And I'm like, I do not think that we are so different, you and I.
He says, that's very cute, very clever, but I know you're just here at the masquerade. And I know that's not your real face.
No, indeed. However, I believe I may be able to help you.
But I don't need any help.
Well, do you want to be stuck in this attic for the rest of your life? Or do you want to be able to move about in polite society?
I am perfectly content to be here. I enjoy my daily conversations with Lord Gao. He treats me very well.
Somehow I find that all hard to believe. I believe there's a sickness that comes from people who are trapped for too long. I don't believe anyone's given it a name, but something worth investigating.
Some sort of syndrome, I suppose.
Yes.
She says, I assure you, I am not a damsel in need of rescuing, good sir. I am here of my own volition. I can leave whenever I wish. I choose to stay here because Lord Caspian and I have the most interesting conversations, and I find his company to be rather enjoyable and illuminating, and we find our association mutually satisfying.
I see. If you don't mind me prying, what sort of conversation do you have with him?
We talk about all sorts of things, but mostly we talk about my dreams.
Ah. Dreams are important things. They can be, at least.
Yes, dreams can be. I believe that dreams reveal the truth of our nature. I believe that our unconscious minds are constantly reaching out into the universe, trying to grab hold of things, to communicate with us via symbols and possibly even prophecy.
It is a likelihood. I have studied such things. We have made some order out of the madness of dreams.
Hmm.
My kind.
Hmm. Well, now that you know I don't need rescuing, I suppose you should go ahead and leave.
I still believe that this Lord Caspian is doing a disservice to you and a disservice to us all if you are a dreamer.
Hmm. In truth, Lord Caspian is keeping me safe. You would have me go out where there are people who would want to destroy me.
Why would people want to destroy you?
It's the same reason why someone would want to harm Lord Caspian himself. Some people have dark motives in their hearts. Some people don't know why they commit violence, only that they see someone like me and it's just their natural instinct. It must be worth destroying.
Well, I assure you, were you to travel with me, there would be no such danger. I believe I am much more capable of keeping you safe than Lord Caspian.
Come closer.
And I will.
I'm going to cut away. Weary, what do you do? I'm holding your fail, or your miss. But what do you? What? You're not coming up with anything right now.
I think I tell Pate not to move, and I grab Lord Caspian, and I think Weary is very beside himself. So I think he is quite angry, and what he does is he grabs Caspian by the boot and drags him to the room, and then
very easy because he's small. Yeah,
yeah, and throttles him awake and holds him by the scruff and says you will tell me how to send Pate back, or you will die right now.
That's good. I guess this is I think. I mean, this is really kind of go aggro, right? But
yeah, definitely.
I think your leverage on him is that you will hurt him, right? So roll parlay.
Mm-hmm. Parlay is
plus charisma.
Charisma. Oh, I think I have a decent charisma. Yeah, it's not bad. 8. Barely.
Indeed. On a hit, they ask you for something, and they'll do it if you make them a promise first. And then they need some concrete assurance of your promise right now. He says, I was wondering when you were going to make your move. I know why you've come here. The church sent you.
I assure you, little one, no church wields me. I'm an instrument of death of my own volition.
How very interesting. So you're not completely loyal to the church then?
No. I do not know truthfully where my loyalties are, but I know that Pate does not deserve to die in this freaky death trap.
And he kind of if you let him, he stands up a little bit and says, sure. There are 2 other cubes like this in the world. I have one of them. All 3 are believed to be relics from the ancient world, brought here by the gods themselves. I don't know the manner of sending your friend back, but I suppose sufficiently powerful magic could even break whatever enchantment is on this. Some sort of powerful ritual, perhaps, but who has access to such power? He's saying this as he's looking at the cube admiringly.
Mm-hmm.
It would be quite a feat of arcane skill.
Hmm.
And I might be able to help you with this if you knew someone who could do it. But only if you agree to abandon your mission to kill me.
I may have no love for the church, but seeing this device in your study and your cure, you clearly admire it and what it does. That does not convince me that you are any better than the church.
And he sighs and says, well, I suppose I'll just go back to my party then and wait for the headman's axe to fall, so to speak.
I think Weary grinds his teeth a little bit, and I wonder if there's like a way to signal Logan that we have or something.
I don't think so. You don't have your scion who with your telepathic walkie-talkies anymore.
Yeah. I look at Catherine and I say, very well, I know of such a person, and you will help me find him, and we will get rid of the enchantment on this thing. And if you make any move at the party, it'll be the last move you ever make.
Splendid. Logan.
And I guess we'll
let's take a break. Let's take 2 minutes.
Okay.
How's Cascade coming along?
Good so far, I think. I decided to go back and rewrite a bunch of stuff, but I finished the playbooks. So I'll send those to you, I think, after people playtest them. Because I was thinking I was going to send them to you before, but then realized that it probably is going to change quite a bit by the time that I send it to you after playtesting anyway.
Gotcha.
Even in just the last 2 days, I think they've changed quite a bit. So
Nice.
So we're talking about
Cascade.
Cascade.
Who's playtesting it for you?
I've got a few people on the Friends at the Table, people that wanted to playtest it, and then actually 2 of the playbooks look like they're going to end up being playtested by Friends at the Table.
Oh, neat.
I sent Austin Walker the telepresence, and he's like obsessed with it now. So one of the players wants to do that playbook, and then they already have an aesthetic as well. So
Logan Stormbreaker, you are walking closer at the behest of this woman in the darkness, and the first thing you see are a pair of long, sort of dark bluish black whip-like tentacles reaching into the little halo of blue light from your ring. They're reaching out of the darkness, and they press up underneath your mask, kind of pushing it up, pushing it off, and you feel the sort of like cold clamminess of these tentacles on your cheeks. What do you do?
I like stop walking at that point.
You can feel her. You can feel her as the tentacles make contact with your face. You can feel her in your mind. You have a sensation of this because you're used to Archon being in your mind, right? So this is not something that's completely surprising to you. You have a sense of what's happening here.
And I'll take half a step backwards.
To get the tentacles off you?
Yeah.
She says, I mean you no harm. I simply wish to understand your intentions, sir.
It certainly is not polite to pry into people's minds without even asking.
Well, then I will just ask you outright. Do you mean me any harm?
No. I mean you only freedom from having to stay here, a bigger, broader view of the world, access to more like-minded individuals.
Out of character, is that the truth?
Yeah, that's the truth.
She says, do you mean to harm Lord Caspian?
Indeed, that is my mission. Though, what the church doesn't know won't hurt them.
What do you mean?
If the church believes he's dead, that could very well serve the same purpose as killing him.
You are here in service to some church to kill Lord Caspian. And what kind of evidence would you bring to them to prove that he is dead?
Oftentimes they do not ask much.
You don't find it funny that your employers never require specific proof of the people you have killed for them?
Oh, I find it amusing and troubling. Though that is their business, and I have my own reason for serving them.
What reason is that?
To find things and to find people like yourself, and to learn more about this world and other worlds.
Other worlds. Go to that window. There's a window. You didn't even notice this window before.
Because it was completely dark.
There's a window, and it appears to look out into the night sky.
I'll walk to it. Yeah, and
there is a star hanging bright in the sky, and it seems to pulsate a sort of pale, sickly yellow. Do you see that star?
and I nod.
That is the only world that matters right now.
Indeed.
It calls to us. Can you hear it? I can see that you hear it.
I think all of the eyes on my robe are staring at the planet.
It calls out to me nightly in my dreams. It reaches deep inside and whispers things to me. Things that I shall not repeat to you because I'm not sure you could handle it.
I have found a path, though I'm not sure if it is the path to that place, though it very well may be.
You can feel the tentacles tickling your lower back, reaching up further to try to get to your head, your face. Do you let them?
I think I take a half a step back and I'm like, still not going to just ask permission?
I'm going to cut back to Weary. So, Weary, you've struck a deal with Lord Caspian.
Mm-hmm. And I say, I am certain that you know where my friend might be going. So why don't you just take us there?
Very well. And he leads you down the stairs, across the Great Hall. He stops for a little bit to chat with guests, right? That kind of thing.
I have like
and before you leave, Pate like is going crazy, like calling out for you, like don't leave me, right? But you leave, and Lord Caspian locks the doors behind you because I think he's like, we wouldn't want anyone wandering in.
Mm-hmm.
But he takes you across the ballroom to the other side of the house. He chats with some people. He gives some orders to some of the servants and, assures everyone that he'll be back momentarily. Takes you up the stairs. Little half stairs, incidentally. Easier for climbing. And you go up the stairs and takes you to that little narrow half door and opens it, and we see the blade trap hanging in the stairwell. And it says, "I think we found your friend."
No, for your sake, he better be safe.
And Lord Caspian goes up, and indeed the blade trap like just goes right above his head.
Yeah,
just kind of hangs, And he says, "I don't see any blood, so it looks like he probably survived. But..." And then he kind of goes up to the door up the stairs. And he says, "Oh, the trap is sprung. I fear he's probably not with us anymore."
well, we'll see about that.
Logan, you hear the commotion outside the door of the attic. What do you do?
I think I start to walk towards it because I don't want anyone to interrupt my conversation with she who is not, whose face is not but tentacles.
Right. You can hear Lord Caspian on the other side speaking rather loudly, and I'm sure Weary is not speaking loudly, but you can tell there's clearly somebody else with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll get to the door. Are they like messing with the door yet, or they're just standing on the other side talking?
They're about to come in.
And I'll just speak through the door. I'm like, oh dear, were you worried that your trap had me? All's well.
And he flings the door open and says, "That was one of my most powerful enchantments, a teleportation wound. How did you manage to defeat it?"
Oh, never reveal your secrets.
Indeed. I suppose you found my little secret
I
in the attic.
I believe so. And
then it gets kind of quiet. What sorts of things has she been telling you?
we've been having a most delightful and interesting conversation.
She is very, very conversational. What sorts of things did she reveal to you? Did she speak of her dreams?
The topic may have been broached briefly, though I do not know if it is polite to discuss it with you, what I had in a private conversation with a lady.
Well, I'm told you are needed. And he kind of looks over to Weary. So let's leave her for now. And he kind of like ushers you out of the room.
I turn back around. My lady, it seems I am needed downstairs. Can I assume our conversation can resume when I return?
And you hear her say, "I can't wait."
I'll go through the door and close it softly behind me.
And I'll say there's something that needs your only you can solve, and I do not think that I could give it justice. You just have to see it.
This must be terribly important for you, not to kill this one.
You'll see. You were right about his unusual proclivities. We'll put it that way.
Are you saying that all in earshot of him?
Yeah, like if Weary has led him to me, like in the midst of like talking with the key, like of course he knows like we were here to kill him.
Right?
Yeah.
He says, "Well, I will tell you, sir, that I have secured a promise that I will come to no harm."
Oh, indeed, have you?
I have indeed. It would seem that your friend Weary is not too impressed with my little party trick.
All right, let's have it. What kind of trouble have you entangled this poor soul with? I look at Weary with kind of disdainful eyes. I'm just like, did you put something in him? Did you poison him? Did you ensorcel him? Are you in his mind? What have you done?
He says, he points to you, where he says, "After you."
Yeah, well, Logan, it is something that you have to see. If I was to tell you, it would just be nonsensical.
And I'll follow you.
You get there. Everything is as described. Pate seems very, he's very frightened, but also very, excited that you're back, Weary. He doesn't immediately recognize Logan unless you pull your mask off, Logan.
Yeah, I'll take my mask off and set it in one of the chairs that's like, directed towards viewing this cube.
And then he gets really excited to see you again as well. He's, just kind of beside himself. So.
Oh boy. Lord Caspian, it seems you have a torchbearer in a box. What is the meaning of this?
He walks up to the cube and says, "Shall I show you?" And holds his hand up to the glass.
And I grab his hand. This is no mere viewing room. This cube rips people apart in only moments.
Oh,
I've seen somebody die.
does it really? I think I've heard of such a device.
Possibly roll spell lore.
That's intelligence.
Mhm.
6.
I still got to move to make on weary too.
Yeah. Do you want to babble some kind of explanation to jog my? Well, or I think I've still got a bag of books.
Oh yeah, you could do a bag of books. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me just make sure I've still got one.
To bump it to a 7.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I still got one. Yeah, I still got 2. Yeah, I'll use a book.
What's the name of the book?
Like I'm kind of wondering if this would just be another key,
Possible. Yeah.
or if it would be listed in the book of keys, because I've got one of those. I've got a book of the keys and the keepers.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, it would probably be something about the afterlife and hell and demons.
Yeah, that's good. Well, yeah, because I guess I could have asked after I actually told you the thing too. The interesting thing, but not necessarily useful thing, is that this device is more or less as described by Lord Gaul. It's been here. It's been here since like ancient days, like very very ancient, the ancient world, right? It is thought to be like pieces of like a sort of like twisted game played by evil gods, right? That's all very interesting, but easy to come by information wise, right? Another interesting thing is that there are 2 others in the world, as Lord Caspian suggests, but it's thought that the other 2 are inert; they no longer function, and so that does indicate that like it's not just speculation. Like these can be made inert. Right?
Okay.
And
So.
Pate used to be. Oh no, he was never a key or anything, right?
Yeah, he was just he had taken the white putrescence and gained mechanical genius, but just for like a really specific purpose. Like he's otherwise not very smart. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I tell Logan it is very strange that this cube would summon Pate. Is it not? Like out of. Like
the stories indicate that like it grabs someone completely random.
Yeah.
Out of the universe, out of the world.
Yeah, this one seems particularly attuned to the user.
That could be some indication of how to deactivate it too.
Because I did touch it before.
Do you have the ritual move, Logan?
I do.
Shall we out of character talk about one?
Yeah, maybe. Like first, I would like turn to Lord Caspian. I'd be like, you know the secret turnings of the world for teleportation. Can you not just get him out?
I am particularly skilled in this type of magic, yes, and I can certainly help you. But I have tried in the past. It's a bit tricky. Perhaps with your own magical knowledge, we could come up with something.
Yeah, let's talk about ritual.
Okay. While we'll be thinking about the ritual in a minute. Well, let's go ahead and go over it. Let's go ahead and go over the move and decide what we want it to be.
Yep.
Is it as written in the Wizard playbook? Because that's what I have in front of me.
Yeah, it's identical.
Okay. Cool. Okay, well, so you're going to need the help from Caspian. That's definite, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it is going to be a lesser version, unreliable, and limited. Okay, so this may not even work. And And
So
I think you'll have to disenchant an existing magic item you have in order to power this effect. Okay.
Which one is it? Is it a lesser version, unreliable, or limited?
It's not or limited, it's and limited.
Oh, on mine it's or. I guess that's the only difference.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, on the wizard it's and. Well, it's going to be unreliable. So
okay.
In that case, so yeah, you have to disenchant the magic item just so you have like a sort of base of power. You're only going to be able to do an unreliable version. I think that's because we don't have like a real per se place of power here. Like it itself is kind of a place of power. And so because you're relying on its own sort of like natural power, I think that makes it a trickier proposition, right? And then you'll need help from Lord Caspian. So that's it.
Okay.
I'll let you describe the fiction. Like what is this going to look like? What are you guys going to do?
I mean, I don't have magic for teleportation or things like that. Like if that's the plan, Lord Caspian is it.
He's got that skill. He does know that. Yeah.
Like if I were going to tackle this by myself, it would probably be something very uncomfortable for Pate, but something that might work. Where I would cause his flesh to expand rapidly and break out of the cube, and then return him to his normal state as best I can.
That sounds really violent and dangerous.
Indeed, that would be what my magic would do.
It's a combination of flesh weaving and storm breaking, right?
Yeah. But that would, in effect, like destroy this box.
Yeah.
So.
I also just think it would be super dangerous, right? I mean,
it could be. It could be really dangerous. Yeah.
Because destroying the box you might create a rift in time space or something, right? I mean, like who the fuck knows?
What about like do you have like disenchant or anything?
I mean,
I think that's what the ritual's doing, right? It's kind of functioning as a disenchant. Or if you're just trying to teleport him out, I guess it stays enchanted at that point. But
right. Yeah, like if this is going to be a lesser effect, getting him out is probably the lesser effect.
It's unreliable, though.
Oh, it's unreliable. It's not a lesser effect. It's unreliable.
Yeah. Is the goal to make it inert or just to get paid out?
I mean, my goal would be to get paid out, but if it's an unreliable thing, like flesh weaving Pate is probably the unreliable thing. Like this could just go really, really badly.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what Lord Caspian has to do with it.
I think like Lord Caspian has. I think he's studied the cube. You know, it's not just a party trick for him. And so there's that. I think he just has like a lot of knowledge about like the history of it and like how it works and stuff. And then on top of that, I think he also, if you do want to go with a more like kind of, if making it inert is like a teleportation thing, like maybe you swap Pate with something else that kind of disrupts the magic or whatever, then he can help you with that as well.
Interesting.
While you're going through your notes and trying to figure out the best plan of attack here, we're at a certain point. Lord Caspian kind of like, when Logan's not paying attention, Lord Caspian kind of like tugs on you and like kind of pulls you to the side a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at you and he says, listen to me, Weary. The Shadow Court plays a game that you cannot possibly understand, and you are just a pawn in that game. And when they're done, when the inner circle of the Shadow Court is done doing what it's going to do, many, many people are going to be hurt and suffering, and you are going to be the reason why.
Is it like it seems kind of like someone else is talking through him, kind of?
Kind of, yeah. Unless he's masking his voice normally. So.
Oh right, yeah. That would be kind of funny. I think like with the mention of that, I sort of like grab his throat and I say, "What do you know of the Shadow Court?"
And I think at that point, Logan, you hear that. You then see Logan. You see Weary grab Lord Caspian threatening away around his throat. What do you do? They're clearly arguing, having some kind of intense conversation about something.
I'm like, Weary, he's the size of a child. Be gentle.
And he's like, really, I can't believe you. This is the second time you've accosted me this evening, and here I am being so helpful.
Yes, indeed. Aren't you being so helpful? I believe I have it now. Weary, unhand him. Goodness.
Yeah, I'll, like roughly shove him towards Logan.
And I screw the ring off my finger, and I'm like, this is what we are going to do. We're going to need your help to swap this with Pate. And that is going to cause this thing to become inert as it triggers the ring's ability within itself, causing the lightning to strike and burn away any enchantments that are inside. How does that sound?
How very interesting. I think that's great. Out of character.
Out of character, that's not the plan.
Oh, what is the plan out of character?
The plan is to swap Lord Caspian with Pate.
I thought that might be what you were up to. I'm into that. I love it. I need a bio break. We'll come back.
All right.
Mm. Have you gotten your email yet from DexCon?
Not last I checked. Have you?
No. No, I checked a little while ago, but
No, I don't have one right now.
no, I don't either.
I'm sure they're madly having to shuffle.
Yeah, well, and also I'm sure they received like everybody's at once, probably, right? So
Yeah.
I know that like for Dreamation last year, though, they didn't have the schedule up until like the Tuesday of that week, right? And the little, or no, the Wednesday of that week, and the little dinner thing is on Thursday. Like when you can go register, so or pick up your little badge. So they were like really like pressed right there at the end. So their system is so hard.
They need a honestly, like
they say all the time that like it works, like it works for them, they like it, but like it's so inefficient, right? I mean,
yeah, like they could have a clone of our website and it would probably serve them better.
Yeah, I know. Like it's so strange, but whatever. They've been doing it that way for 20 years. So, I mean, and the website still looks like it probably did in 1997.
Yeah, it definitely looks like I should be hearing my modem dial up right now.
Right, exactly. Okay, back to. Oh yeah, Fraser. We were talking about the DexCon people. Yeah, the cons are super fun. I love all the double exposure cons, but yeah, they're like so old school. All right, back to the game. What an interesting, tricky thing to do. You're going to swap Lord Gaul for Pate. That's very, very tricky. Are you going to tell Weary about this plan, or are you just going to do it?
I don't think that there's time to explain the plan.
Okay, I'm into that. So give me the fiction first. Describe the steps, the process of the ritual, like what everyone's doing, what's all happening, what's Pate doing in the meantime, all that kind of stuff. Like what because surely you have some kind of preparations for Pate as well, right? Like to stand a certain way or do a certain thing.
Yeah, I think that all the instructions for Pate are purely aesthetic. Like they are not part of the ritual at all. It's mostly to calm him down and keep him quiet.
Yeah.
So I like instruct him to like sit in a lotus position and like hum to himself.
Nice. And I'm just imagining him doing that and like yeah. Anyway, so cool. Well, so describe the rest of it. So what happens here? And I think what I'm doing, I'm just going to provoke a roll when you're ready.
Okay.
With intelligence. So.
Right. So I have Lord Caspian basically like scrawled a rune for transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And I place the ring upon it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have him stand next to me.
Okay.
And the ring begins to glow like brighter and brighter as I'm like murmuring secret words.
Mm-hmm.
And then it starts to like flare out a little bit, like it arcs lightning here and there. And that rune begins to glow. And then inside the chamber, Pate begins to glow faintly. Though, as I've instructed him to keep his eyes closed, he is not perceiving this.
Nice. Any other description before we see if it worked? Or
I grab Lord Caspian's like forearm, and that's when we'll probably provoke the roll.
Cool. Well, plus end.
All right. I guess this is just like a defy danger.
It's kind of a custom move. We'll say on a hit, no matter what, it's gonna work with it works being Lord Caspian is swapped with Pate, right?
Uh-huh.
On a 10 plus, it's like it's a clean hit, right? You have control of the situation. On a 7-9, it works, but like it could be messy, right? So.
Yeah. Well, I've got a 13, so if there's any 12 plus, then
you can take a little bonus effect. I'll take that. It's going to work exactly as you wish. Describe it.
Okay. I do have a bonus effect that I might want to invoke later.
Okay.
And we can talk about that. You see if you're into it. But it works. Like Lord Caspian begins to glow too, and he perceives it because I have not given him any instruction to close his eyes or anything. And he probably looks at me right before he is teleported inside the cube, and Pate is transported to me where I'm holding his forearm.
Right.
And since he is sitting down, he is at the same height that Lord Caspian was at.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's good. It's a good touch.
And then I have him open his eyes. And he can hear my voice is no longer through glass, and he can feel my hand is on his arm. And Lord Caspian's in there.
Yeah. You look startled, as you might imagine.
Yeah, and I pick up my ring, which is no longer glowing or anything, and I screw it back onto my finger. I kind of look at it like, like, darn, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Right, yeah.
Such things are necessary.
Pate is elated. He runs up to you and hugs you, Weary, right? He like throws his arms around you. What were you doing during all that, Weary?
I think he was just like enraptured with what was happening, and I think he's surprised as Lord Caspian to find Caspian in the box instead of the ring.
Right. Yeah.
So I think he's still shocked when Pate like hugs him and stuff. Yeah.
I hold
go ahead.
Yeah, I hold the book up, the book that I was reading to help me learn about this, and I hold it up for Lord Caspian to see, and I'm like, this book says that these things are inert. This is lies. This is rubbish. This book is useless. And I throw it down. Such evil is never destroyed. At best, it sleeps.
Lord Caspian looks like furious and scared at first, but then just kind of furious. And he says, we had a deal. I was not supposed to come to any harm for my help.
Indeed, no harm will come of you so long as no one touches this box, and I have every intention of seeing it never touched again.
But the servants, they come in once a week to dust. Of course they're going to see this. They're going to see me. Surely one of them will try to take their vengeance on me. I've always been something of a stern employer.
And that's the 12 plus ask that I want.
Which is,
I want the ground to I will cut my hand and let my blood drip onto the ground, and my flesh will essentially cause the ground to rift open and the box can go down. But since I cannot create anything permanent, the room will again return to the way that it was.
Okay, so it's not it's more like a teleportation thing as opposed to the house actually ripping apart physically and then going back. Yeah,
I think it's kind of probably a fleshy thing that opens up and then swallow it back down.
Right, that's nice. Riri, how do you feel about this? Because Lord Caspian just sort of seemed to have some kind of insight about the Shadow Court, and now he's in the fucking cube.
Yeah, it is the best. But I think that with the combination of deja vu and what that weird instance of Caspian sort of being something else for a moment, mm-hmm. I don't think Weary is in a place to be trusting anything anyway. So yeah. I think he's distraught, but not visibly on the exterior or anything.
Yeah. I look at the cube with him in it, and I'm just reminded of looking in a mirror and seeing Lord Caspian in a mirror.
Indeed. And he, as the cube is being sort of slurped.
I think it's really slow. Yeah, I think it's really slow.
Yeah, super, super slow. As that's happening, you're having this flash of insight. This is just in whatever a parallel thing that was going on, that other experience where you trapped him in the mirror. It's a very similar situation. You've trapped him in the cube, right? And he kind of walks up to the edge and puts his hands on the interior of the wall. Touching the interior doesn't do anything. And he presses up against it, and he says, and he makes really strong eye contact with you as the cube is sliding down. He says, This is not the first time you have done this to me, and it will not be the last. I get another go at you yet. Prepare yourself. And then the cube is just sinks in, and the space seals up and it's gone.
There. We have kept our promise, Weary. No harm to him, and we do not kill him. And the church need not know, and she whose face is not but tentacles need not know.
Indeed, but there is something there's something strange afoot here, right? Like we this is all the same and it is all different, is it not?
Indeed. The more we do this, the more I recognize it for being similar. And his words there at the end, what do you make of them?
I don't know what to make of them. I think that we need and deserve answers from the church.
I don't know if I want to pull at that thread, but perhaps you're right.
I'm not sure who else would have answers for us.
In the meantime, I have a lady waiting for me. And I start to stroll out of the room as this bizarre flesh thing is swallowing a cube with a small man inside of it.
Right, indeed.
So strange, yeah.
So you're going to go back up to the key, right, in the attic?
Yes.
Interesting. What are you going to do, Weary?
Maybe I'll get Pate to safety.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Pate's there. He's doing his thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a scene with you and Pate in a moment, but I'm gonna go up to Logan in the attic, and it's just as before. Darkness. Maybe your ring is not glowing anymore. What's your light source now?
Pate's torch, of course.
Perfect. You light a torch, which illuminates the space up considerably more. You see her sitting on a chair. She's wearing a very, very dark velvet gown. In the light, it's hard to tell what color it is precisely, but it's a dark, close-fitting velvet gown, and a little shawl around her shoulders. Her head is it's all head where the ears and the hair and the neck are, but the face is as advertised. There are 4 thick tentacles that make up where her nose and mouth and eyes should be, and they come out, they spread out, they undulate, they writhe, they go in and around her body as she sits there perfectly still. What do you do?
I just, pick up our conversation where we left it off. Act like nothing is amiss.
She says, I do not sense Lord Caspian's presence. Where is he?
He's downstairs.
Come closer.
I will.
Downstairs. Where downstairs? I don't hear the sounds of the party anymore. What is he doing? Usually he comes right up and tells me how much fun he had and what sorts of secrets he learned.
Oh, he learned a great many secrets this evening. That I can assure you.
Has he said he will be coming up soon?
Oh, no, he will not be coming up anytime soon.
What do you mean?
I mean that no harm has come to him, and we have not slain him, but he will no longer be visiting you.
And I think you see the tentacles kind of trembling wildly, or they're getting agitated a little bit, right? Even though her body is perfectly still, sitting in this chair with the arms on the, her hands on the arms of the chair, but the tentacles are kind of wildly whipping around and writhing, right? She seems clearly agitated. What do you do?
Do not let this distress you, my lady. We were speaking of dreams and a path. Do you not want to come with us and explore the path rather than stay here?
Roll plus charisma.
5.
Indeed. Weary. The party has more or less petered off. There are a few drunk people kind of stumbling off to rooms. There are a number of like these slightly short in stature, beautiful men and women who are whispering to themselves like, well, I don't know where he is. I don't know where he's gone to, but thank goodness we don't have to do anything with him tonight if he doesn't show up. Maybe we can just sneak out of here, right? That's all going on. And Pate is just like his jaw slacked, looking at like the wonder of this place, right? Looking at how beautiful it is and everything, right? And just kind of looking around and everything. And he says, so where are we going?
We need to get you to safety, and maybe we'll just like go to an inn, and then tomorrow you can be on your way home.
Oh, all right, but I do not know the way.
I'm sure we could find you like a map or something. At least you are safe now. But I fear that the longer you stay with me, the least safe you will be.
And he kind of like turns to you and like fixes you a look in the eyes. Suddenly a look in which his sort of spacey, starry look that he normally has, right? Kind of like slips away a little bit. And he says, oh yes, I know that's true.
Like a similar look as Caspian?
Yeah.
Hmm.
He says, well, where's a good place to stay in town? And then we'll just cut there. So, Logan Stormbreaker. She's not having it. She's not having your lies. She's not having your deceptions. She's not having your stuff. She stands up and she says, you have moments, mere seconds to leave this place, or I will destroy you. One of your moments has passed.
I pull the azure flame crystals out.
Ooh. And
I say, now be reasonable.
You'll notice when you pull them out that they feel warm. They feel warm and stirred up in a way.
Right. I have left your lord relatively safe. And if he has friends and allies, they can rescue him from the device I have placed him in. And I have not betrayed your trust in this regard.
One of your moments has passed. And she takes a step forward.
And I hold the crystals out. And you stay across the room, and we will talk civilly.
What are you hoping to gain by the crystals?
Like I'm just planning, if she's going to attack me, I'll try and use them as a weapon.
Okay. Nice. I think she's not going for it. Yeah, I'm leading into this to your failed roll. She, the tentacles just whip out at you. What do you do?
Like, I would like to say that Logan turned calmly and walked away from the room, but I think that he scrabbles like a frightened rabbit.
You are gonna run.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
out of here. Do
you drop the? Well, we'll see. Let's see how the roll goes. Give me a defy danger, dexterity to get out of there.
All right.
And
Let me see what my modifier is for that. Okay. Snake eyes.
You attempt to scramble away, and in so doing, you drop the sack of the crystals, right? And they kind of like hit on the floor of the attic. Your torch that you were carrying tumbles out of your hand as well, and is snuffed or obscured in some way. And all we see is just like the faint glow of these blue crystals. These blue crystals, which are a manifestation of hate itself, right? They are distilled and pure primordial hate. And we see in silhouette, we see her and her tentacles in this blue light, and the tentacles reach down and they make contact with the crystals, right? And you see like her whole body becomes like kind of suffuse with like a blue light, right? It's momentary, but it's there. And then she just kind of like bursts into a sort of halo of like cold blue flame, right? Like it's cold in the sense that it's not lighting the room on fire. A halo of like blue flame around her. Her hands kind of like spread out to the side, almost saint-like, right? And her tentacle face whipping around hither and thither. And you may continue to run away. Back down the stairs. And you'll meet up with Weary.
Okay.
So there's only a move if you kill a keeper, right? Not a key.
Well, yeah, destroying a key doesn't do anything.
Right. Okay.
And Logan, strike the blue crystals from the azure crystal plate from your inventory as well.
Yeah.
You're there. Logan looks a little startled. Pate is setting out to go find himself a room for the night. Weary, what do you say? What do you do?
I say we need to find, if we're not going to go to the church, we need to find an intermediary that might know something about the church that we can go to, like some kind of source that they use that would know something about it that we could lean on to get some information. Because I don't know about you, but I don't think I could sleep tonight not understanding what came to pass today.
Like I burst from those stairs, turn and draw my sword, and I'm just like waiting, like as he's saying all of this, I'm just like look back at him like a few times. I'm like, what?
What are you fleeing from?
The key is up the stairs, and she is very upset about what happened to Lord Caspian. I guess as like the moments pass, like it seems apparent that she's not going to pursue me.
She's not pursuing you. No.
Okay. And I look at Weary and I'm like, I see one of two options as prudent. Either we destroy the key now and here, or we flee this town tonight.
Well,
I will certainly not sleep in this town.
Yeah. Well, do you think it is wise to fulfill the goals of the church, knowing this strangeness now?
Church of the Goals aside, that thing is a danger in and of itself, one that is directly angry at me. So I do not care what the church thinks of it. I would see it destroyed.
Okay.
As for future missions, you may be right. We may need to consider what this church is all about.
Well, I think it would be wise then. Let's kill the key, and then we'll go, and then that way we can pursue the next course of action without some threat to you and your person.
Well, how do you propose getting at her? She's a light with blue flame of hatred, and she has tentacles for a face.
He's just now mentioning that detail.
I think Weary's like, perhaps the window then. Yeah, like maybe a sneak attack from the window kind of thing or something like that. Like maybe I could go out from one of the other windows similarly facing that building and
climb up or something.
Yeah, Assassin Creed her.
It is a possibility.
And yeah, maybe I'll just say I'll try to finish what you started, Logan.
I will do my best to help, but I do not think that I can get especially close.
Well, people rarely see me coming, except for tonight.
Indeed. So, Logan, where will you be while he's scaling the wall to get to the window where she's at in the attic?
I will be preparing a spell that will hopefully help him.
Okay. What kind of spell?
I will attempt to weave a spell to help solve a problem, which is my cast a spell move. Describe it and roll plus int. I will be attempting to weave her flesh to cause it to be less than effective, like her tentacles in particular, to basically either like minimize them or make her face almost like a natural face so that she does not have her whatever they do when Weary strikes. But it will, like, as it is my nature, it will only be it can only be temporary.
Right. Yeah. It might just buy him like a minute or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm into this. So it sounds like she's, based off what you know about her, it sounds like she's kind of sensitive, right? Like she may not be able to like view you. She may not have to look at you to know you're there, right? It probably has something to do with the tentacles. And so I think we could kind of set up a situation to where your magic is maybe helping Weary like get past her tentacles, basically, right? Like get past whatever sensory kind of thing she has going on. In which case, I don't think I need the spell. We can just use it as aid, right?
Okay.
Aid with intelligence, I think. So, Weary, you can even see the faint blue glow coming out of that top window as you go around the back side of the house, right? You can see it, and you can see the glow moving around a little bit. Like it's all as like it's as Logan described. She's a light with the blue flame of hatred right now. Mm-hmm. What do you do?
Yeah, I try to scale. I imagine like the building is pretty opulent with lots of like the kind of architecture with lots of footholds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm making my way to that, and I think I have like a dagger in my mouth or something, and my bow at the ready in case I need that. And I think the plan is to scale to the window and then like fling a dagger at her to sort of like assassinate from outside.
Cool, I'm into it. Let's have a defy danger. Defy danger con to scale the wall and get up to the window initially.
That's a 9.
Okay, you are up, but I think you get up just fine, no problem. I think what happens is you have your what kind of weapons do you have apart from your throwing daggers?
I have a rapier, I have a dagger, 2 throwing daggers, and a ragged bow.
Okay. I think your throwing daggers, which is I assume what you were going to try to assassinate her with, they slip out. They slip out and fall down. You're up on the ledge, and your throwing daggers are down below. You're going to find a different way of killing her.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Ooh, I have an idea. What if, do you think my ring of fire control could control the blue fire of
Sure.
hate?
Yeah. That's what.
It has before,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what Kuroko was doing with it, right? When she used it to control it.
Maybe, maybe then I'll instead like use it to intensify the fire and try to like
Burn
have
her
her,
up.
yeah, burn her alive, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. I like that a lot. I think I'll still count it as backstab. It's kind of one of the more interesting backstabs I've ever seen, but I'm into it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then this is where you can take aid from Logan if you need it. Logan, while he's doing that, what are you doing just in the fiction?
Isn't a backstab a free hit?
No, it can be. Well, actually, you need to read it. I think you still roll to get like. Let's see here. I haven't done it in a while. When you attack a surprised or defenseless enemy with a melee weapon, you can choose to deal your damage or roll dex and get a bonus, right? So if you just deal your damage, though, I'll tell you that won't kill her in one hit. So you'll need the benefit of the extra effects. So
yeah, what I'm doing is I just kind of raise my arms and my cloak flows off of me and like moves in front of me as if there's a body within the cloak. Nice. And all of them turn. All of the cloak folds turn so that it is the flesh cloak with the eyes. And I begin directing it like with my hands and like shouting, like chanting words, and like one by one, like the eyes are closing.
Ooh, nice. That's cool. I like it's good visual. Weary, you see her. She's like pacing back and forth, and her wild, like glowing with flame now, blue tentacles are flipping around wildly. Give me your backstab.
Let's see. Another 9.
Well, the aid will help then. Do you want to roll plus aid for aid, Logan?
Yes, I think so. I'm nervous now. We've had so many bad rolls.
Yeah.
He just needs a +1 to put it over the top.
Do you want me to roll Weary?
Yeah, sure.
All right. 10.
10. Awesome.
Nice.
That bumps you up to a 10. So you are going to get to choose 2 from your list there. I will tell you that I'll just tell you straight away that she has 12 hit points. You have to do 12 hit points to take her out right now.
Okay, so I'll deal the extra damage and I'll get into melee with them just in case as well.
The choice is you don't get into melee, so you don't want to get into melee with her. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you don't get into melee.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to get into melee with her, that's free.
You don't want to get into melee with her.
Yeah. Maybe create an advantage.
Okay, yeah, you might need it if you don't kill her. So
yeah.
All right. The Ring of Fire Protection. This is the first time you've used it like for something like this. You've been playing with it previously, but what does it do? What do you do? What does it look like when you attack her?
I think that I'm sort of like on the sill, crouched there like a cat kind of thing in the darkness, and then the ruins around the ring start to glow, and then it like I do a pointed gesture at her, and that's when it like emblazons the fire a lot more, and it makes it like maybe 10 times as bright and powerful kind of thing.
And I think during that, she actually does turn to face you, and she doesn't respond. There's like no, like she doesn't, it's like she can't see you. And I think that's Logan's magic, right? Like occluding her vision, so to speak. Sweet, roll your damage. You get a D8 plus 6.
D8 plus 6.
A D8 plus a D6 or a D8 plus 6?
It's a D8 plus a D6. Yep, sorry.
Okay, so only 8.
Okay. It's going to hurt the hell out of her. You intensify the fire. She kind of lets out like this terrible, like sort of like this terrible wail, you know, kind of ghostly, otherworldly, but still very like savage and angry, right? And the tentacles are flipping around wildly, right? And she just like takes, like she takes like 4 like huge lunging steps, just bum, 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 right up to the window where you're at. And the tentacles just like smash through the glass and are trying to grab at you. What do you do?
I think I'll take out my rapier.
Okay.
And try to like keep her at bay as well as like land a good blow.
Okay, cool. Are you, this is an interesting question. What's your level?
It is level 5.
Okay, so you could actually do defend and take the option where you deal damage and kill her instantly, right?
Oh,
so,
okay.
And also protect yourself. So go ahead and roll defend plus con.
Okay. Oh, I didn't spell it right. Ah. 8.
8. All right. What happens on?
You hold 1.
You hold 1. You can spend it to. So on defend, you can spend it to. You can spend it to kill her right now, right? Because you can deal damage to the attacker equal to your level. But then you expose yourself to her attack, right?
Yeah. I think that would make for a cool visual. I'll do that.
Yeah. And you also have a +1 from the previous thing, but I don't think that matters. It just bumps you up to a 9. So
yeah, unless I was aiding again, but yeah.
Do you want to? I mean,
I think we've got the situation at hand. I don't think we need to complicate it further.
Cool. So which do you choose, Weird?
Yeah, I'll deal my damage, and maybe
She's going. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Maybe what it looks like is like I expose myself because I have to put my hand closer in order to get the rapier to edge into her in the first place.
Nice. Cool. And she, the way she attacks is basically, she just does kind of like her tentacles like make contact with you, and she just like, I think she like floods your mind with like all of these like terrible, hateful thoughts, right? Like they just assault your mind, right? Like just like it's like overload, right? And I think that is what causes you to like basically lose your footing after you deal the killing blow, and you fall back off the building down to the ground below, and you take a D10 plus 2.
D10 plus 2, you said?
Yeah.
Which is 6.
Cool. I assume you're alive.
Yeah.
Hit the ground. Logan, you can see him fall.
Well, yeah, I probably don't, because I was like rushing up the stairs as this was happening and like kicking in the door.
Okay, yeah. You see her just like laying down there, like dead. The blue flame is gone.
Yeah. And my like importantly, like I'm not in my cloak right now. Like my cloak follows me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I see that she's dead, and I like look out the window that's shattered and like look down and see Weary. Like, are you alive? Are you okay?
Yeah, I think there's just like a big groan, and there's probably like little chips of like stone that are with me down there as I like careened off the edge and like hit a couple things because it wasn't that damaging. So I probably had my fall broken a couple times by other stuff. So I just yell up as good as can be expected, I think.
All right. I'll be back. I'll be down in a moment. Don't. If your back is hurt, try not to move.
Yeah, I think I like take, like I try to stand up and then I like collapse and I said, I'll just wait here a moment.
Yeah. And like you can hear like a crunching noise. And I go over and I collect the azure flame crystals.
Yeah. Now there's a limited amount of them left.
Yeah.
Now I think there are just I think there are just 2 uses left, period. Like whatever use you might make of them, there's only 2 twice. So.
Okay. So 2 uses of azure flame crystals.
Yeah.
And that crunching noise is like I look and then look away. My cloak with its boar tusks and teeth its quills is eating.
It's consuming her.
Yeah.
Oh, gross. Weary, while you're there, rubbing the bruises on your back, not able to quite stand up, you hear a voice. Actually, you see first someone approaching from the darkness. You're in kind of like a little back alley behind the house, right? Maybe up against a little auxiliary building or something. And there is a tall, shadowy figure approaching you, right? Like the light is not great. Your vision of them is obscured. Like you just see a shape, right? It's just silhouette in the moonlight. And they step closer and closer. And then they say, "Do you need a torch?"
Pate, is that you?
We'll end there. So that's our session. I don't want epilogues from you because we know exactly what's happening after this. Good. That went better than I thought it was going to. I'm always a little leery of a stunt session, but I think it worked out okay. So I think it all hung together like I hoped it would. So
yeah,
I'm happy about that. It was good. Good fight at the end. I was happy with that as well. Surprised you guys went after her. I thought you were just going to run. So.
Yeah, I kind of thought so too. But then Logan was like, "She's after me."
Take her out.
Yeah.
I liked the gruesome cloak consuming her, which is gross as fuck.
I think like Logan Stormbreaker / Fleshweaver is the coolest fucking mage I've ever played. Oh my god.
There's some gruesomeness there. I was into it. I liked the burying Lord Gaul. I thought that was good. And I liked the callback to trapping him in the mirror from the first time. I thought that was really fun. There were lots of good echoes and callbacks to the first time you encountered him. So that was pretty pleased with that. Yeah, Shadow Court. That part of my campaign front is making a move, so that's good and exciting. Yeah, I was happy with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely making like the Cloak of Logan Stormbreaker and Cloak of Logan Fleshweaver going to be magic items in my future games.
Nice.
I think in the fiction, if it's cool, like the cloak will also now within its folds have 4 large tentacles.
Yeah, that's cool. Like it's constantly like adding layers.
It's growing. Yeah, like the cloak is clearly like its own entity.
Its own entity. Yeah, kind of almost Cthulhuoid in a way, right? Just kind of fun. Cool, awesome. I like that we have Weary for these sessions because, because this is the game that Fraser can make every week. So I'm happy that we have that because I'm able to keep the sort of like the bigger picture Shadow Court campaign front alive and going,
Yeah.
Which is fun. I'm going to try to find ways of making it more applicable to like the whole party in the future. So it's not just Weary's little personal drama, but I'm happy that's like a tool that I have at my disposal, right, in terms of the campaign friends. So,
yeah, it's always a good source of like mystery and discombobulation.
I'm super curious, like if like something is reaching out to try and sway Weary, or if all of these people are independently trying to sway Weary. I don't know. It's really interesting
to find out.
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting, there's so many interesting like little themes and angles with this whole campaign. And I know some of the broad contours of these things, but the rest of it I'm kind of having fun just discovering as we play. But the themes again that I'm finding super interesting are I think it's important that we haven't had a scene with you guys actually taking or getting paid for a job yet, right?
Yeah, we just get paid.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting. I like so there's a sort of like undercurrent of like unreliable narrative or something, right? Like there's something going on that is like narratively feels off, right? And I like how it feels. Like I think it's something I could only get away with. Like we could only get away with this with each other, right? Like I don't think I could pull this off with like a brand new group or like
I wouldn't.
Players could never pull this off.
I wouldn't accept it from like people I didn't trust.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like it's a super big time trust issue, right? In which, and also following up from that, I thank you guys for kind of like rolling with this session because you totally could have been like, you know, like trying to investigate hard what was going on, you know, but I think like you guys chose to like let it just linger and accept it and play through, and I think that led to a much more satisfying story.
Yeah, Frasier really reminded me like of your buzzwords.
Right, yeah, my buzzwords were just go with it and trust me. So, well, because I knew we'd get to a good place. Like I knew we'd get to a good place just because we're all pretty good as a group at like callbacks and keeping like a sort of like internal consistency, right? Like, so I knew we could handle it, right? That's why I say I don't think I could pull this off with another group of players. I probably wouldn't have attempted this if I had a third player today, right? I probably would have done something different. But now that door is open, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with where this might.
Yeah, I'm really curious, like when the third time is going to roll around.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? It's almost suggestive of like, but because I took away the mirrors from you, it's almost suggestive of like, there's like two stories, right? There's like the Caspian Gaul story, which is maybe repeating or something's going on there, and maybe even takes place at a different, like in a weird, disconnected time period. And then there's like the main sort of like, let's go hunt the keepers in various places story, you know?
Yeah. So to be clear, are those gone?
You can unhighlight them now.
Oh, okay.
They're available for use during Path to Dim Carcosa. So.
Okay.
I was trying to decide if it was like, I was like, is this sort of like, are we being incepted here or something? Like,
it had that feeling a little bit, right?
Yeah, like I was almost a little bit convinced that like maybe somebody was like in our heads reliving this memory, trying to get something from us or something.
It's an interesting idea. I don't know.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I was just like, what is going on? And then it was also very like appropriate for the story that as soon as Weary started getting like that weird message, that immediately was taken away too.
Which weird message?
With Caspian.
Oh, right. Like, yeah. Like, hey.
Yeah. The shadow chord's moving, and then it was taken away right away. Kind of
yeah, that was me that was my hard move. I was advancing a front there, but yeah, like just off screen, so you know what was happening there. And anybody watching this is curious how I GM. Like that was a total like moving a campaign front forward. So yeah, I was pretty stoked with all that. I thought it was super fun. I think we got to a really, really good place. I felt really like it felt like really dangerous to run this session, you know, because it seemed like the sort of thing that could have gone off the rails like really easily, right? Like it could have totally flew off the rails, but I'm happy it didn't though. And I'm happy that like, I mean, you know, in terms of like your characters going forward, like you hold this information like in your minds, like simultaneously, right? Like you know, one thing that I think is kind of like, you know, if you think back to Children of the Eight-Legged She, you guys never talked about Lord Caspian during those last sessions, right? You never even looked at the mirrors, right? You had the mirrors and never looked at them or referred to them. So it's almost like your characters were even like existing in like a different time or something, or like a different space, you know? Like it was a thing that happened, but it was like separate.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so.
And if you'll, like I haven't explicitly said this, but it's obvious once I point it out. Logan is collecting keys.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, I picked up on that. I mean, I can tell what you're doing.
Like, yeah, like it's super obvious. Like he's probably, like the church would probably classify him as a keeper.
Right.
But,
yeah. If like, this is really a program that's even real, right? Like,
you know. But like he doesn't care. Like he's just collecting them, and then like the ones that he finds useful, he'll use. He doesn't like. He's not invested in this in the church's message.
I think what I might do is I think it might be fun for the remaining part of the series, maybe, and definitely in the future though, is to like start to like make the other characters call you on the carpet for that, right? Like, hey, look, like what the fuck are you doing with the Azure Crystal Flames, or why we didn't know you still had that, you know, or that kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
because I feel like that's an appropriate group dynamic that would develop.
Yeah, if you get a paladin here, that would be super appropriate.
Yeah, well, Templar, we don't have paladin appropriate, but
Or, yeah,
yeah,
Templar,
or
yeah.
paladin in this one, but
Someone who's really invested in the church, but like,
yeah, exactly. I
But,
wish,
like,
I wish we
me
had that
and-
dwarf
me and-
character.
yeah, me and Weary were like, we don't give a damn.
Right, yeah. Lowell's character would be really great right now because he's so committed to the ostensible mission, right? And so
Yeah.
that would be really cool dynamic. But
Yeah, it
Yeah.
seems like there's like a juxtaposition between the Shadow Court and the church, but then it also seems like they have some kind of similarities or
yeah,
something.
it might be
that
the
are-
same thing. Like, who knows?
Yeah. Because, like-
Yeah, like how miffed would Weary be if he found out that like the Shadow Court was a puppet of this church,
or vice
Yeah.
versa,
or
right?
vice versa?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm thinking of. Have you ever seen the movie The Order with Heath Ledger before
Mhm.
he passed away? Like that, right? Where he's
Mhm.
like a member of the Carolinians and stuff, but then he later finds out that one of the people that are like named to succeed the Pope or whatever is that shadow guy. Remember who
Mhm.
he like kills people
Mhm.
and stuff. It seems like something similar like that. Like all the party members are just like, we're doing this thing, but we don't really know why, and it seems like the same sort of indoctrination that Weary has
Or
had
it's-
before.
Or it's like you guys don't question it. I think that's the most interesting thing is no one has like actually questioned it. Like I know out of character why that is because you're all just kind of focused on the mission. Like I get that.
Yeah, I think we've kind of been directed not to question it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you guys can do. I mean, I will not stop you. Like if you want to go do the thing, I'm totally ready to roll there. Right? That's not a big deal. But I do kind of like frame everything up like we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this, and so tell me what you do. There's legit nothing to stop you guys from saying, fuck the path to Dim Carcosa. I'm going to the church and figure out what the fuck is going on. It is a sandbox. I mean, it's totally cool. But even in character, no one has questioned it, right? Like,
Mhm.
there's never been any like, why should I kill this person? You know, like what
Well, I
is the
think-
reason why I'm killing this person? Some of them have been sympathetic, right? Like,
Yeah.
some of them haven't even been like evil, you know?
Yeah.
I
Logan
think
does it
it's-
because he wants the stuff.
Right. Yeah. You
That's-
have great motivation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking like it seems like it's really interesting that the characters behave that way while we're sort of representations of the church or representatives of the church,
Yeah.
right? Like it's sort of like paints more color over the church just by us acting the way that we do.
Right.
Yeah. I've kind of got like, if you've seen the movie Equilibrium,
Yeah,
Like-
yeah.
I feel like that moment is coming where like right now we're enforcers, but sooner or later we'll call to question like what we're enforcing.
Right.
Yeah, we just have to
And-
find a book of poetry. Where's Sean Bean at?
I know. and then we'll kick in the door and we'll see that everyone that like has been directing us are in fact keepers.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like a weird keeper rivalry going on, right? They're killing each
Mhm.
other. Different sects and factions. Then it becomes World of Darkness. All right.
we've got some bookkeeping we need to do.
We do. Yeah. Let's do our end of session. And also, so one point of bookkeeping. Fraser, roll a d6 because the Ring of Fire Protection may not be working anymore. So if you get a 1, it's inert. Or it's no longer magical.
I
It
get
still
a
has
3.
intrinsic value. Okay, so you're good. You can still use it.
Okay.
And then let's do our end of session. Any chance you guys hit flags?
I tried to hit Weary's flag by kind of making him go and kill her.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Yeah. I
Send
think
me
that's
into
probably-
the shadows.
Yeah, absolutely. Weary, did you hit Logan's by chance?
I was going to hit the rational plan one, but I don't.
You
think
probably
it-
hit the second one. Trust me, despite your better judgment when it comes to a magical.
Oh yeah,
mystery.
like you were ready
Oh,
to go,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
looking to stay
true.
there.
I was like, I guess we'll kill her.
Let's look at alignment statements. All right. Yeah, Logan, you get yours, mark an XP, and then Weary, what is yours again?
To deflect blame now.
Did you do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah,
There wasn't really any.
it didn't really come up.
Didn't come up. Yeah.
Did we learn something new and important about the world? Yeah. You guys learned that like at least the two of you are stuck on some kind of like loop or record or something. You're wrapped up in something, and Lord Caspian knows it too. That's another, like, that's what makes it kind of extra scary. Like, he's totally cognizant of it, right?
Yeah, there might be an interview with Amir when.
Well, there's
spare minute.
You got a great incentive to do that now. Do we overcome a notable monster enemy? Yeah, you bet. She who is not, but what is she? She who fuck or no, the woman whose face is not but tentacles. Yeah, she's dead. Did we loot a memorable treasure? I think the little bit with the cloak was really fun. So
cool.
So you guys can each mark 3 XP there.
Okay. And then we killed a keeper last time, and we didn't kill a keeper this time, but the church would believe that we killed the keeper.
That's true. Yeah, you can probably still get paid for it.
Yeah, should we just get paid twice?
You'll get you can take like you can each take like 400 coin.
Okay. Cool. So I got all that. Awesome. I've got enough XP to level up. Should I do that between sessions?
Yeah, you can do that between sessions. So that's cool. I'm gonna let you guys go. I have to. So we're playing Cheat Your Own Adventure in an hour, right, David?
Yeah. Wait, cool. An hour or two?
I think it's at 2:00 my time, so I think it's 1:00 your time, right? So.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So I'll see you then. Fraser, was a lot of fun. Have fun at Baby Drivers.
Yeah, I'll try.